Hello, friends. Get ready. We're going to draw Shelby Bear for Earth Day. Teachers or adults, you can pause this as the students raise their hand or tell you that they need you to pause, and they can get caught up, and then you can press play again as they keep going. So if I am going too fast for your friends, please feel free to pause and play as needed. Now this is what the drawing will look like in the end. That's my version, but every artist is different. So you may not get to a certain part, or you might change yours. Every artist is different. They go at their own pace and they use different materials. Some people just like to use pencil. I love using marker to outline mine after I do pencil. We are going to start with some sort of circle to trace. Look around the room for a little circle that's could be the inside or the outside of something. A cup could be the top or the bottom. And as I trace, I'm going to press down towards the table so it doesn't move around. This is going to be 1 or 2 fingers from the top edge, and trace your pencil. You're pressing your circle down to the table and you're pressing your pencil up against the edge of what you're tracing. So when we have this drawn, we're going to look at what space is left, and we need to divide that into 3 sections. If we go back and look at last time we drew Shelby for Winterfest, Shelby was about 3 sections, 3 heads. However tall the head is, we have to times that by 3 to get how tall Shelby is from the bottom of its feet to the top of its head. So if I were drawing Shelby, I would need to stack the size of 3 heads tall. So I'm going to find the distance I have left on my paper, and I'm going to divide that by 3. I like to use my fingers, and then I use that to measure, and I put a little dash or a line, and there's about 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So to make that whole section, we need 3 sections. I'm going to lightly draw a head-shaped circle and 2 ear-shaped circles. Let's look back at that drawing from last time. The head is a circle, the ear is a circle, and the second ear is a circle. The earth is going to be on top of Shelby's head, and Shelby needs to be holding up the earth with their arms. And arms, we know, have 2 sections. The upper arm that attaches to the body, and the lower arm, which we call a forearm. We do not have 4 arms, and Shelby does not have 4 arms, but it's called a forearm. So instead of just making a stick figure, I'm adding a second line here because Shelby's very strong. Shelby is definitely not a stick figure. So this bear is very strong. We're going to turn that arm into ovals, and that will help us to know where things go. The body can be a big circle, and the legs are kind of like more ovals. The feet are like more ovals. And if you like this trick, this helps, friends. The hands will be, I pretend I'm doing what I'm supposed to be drawing, and then it helps me imagine or look at how the hands will actually look. So we don't need to do the whole paw with all the little paw pads or the toe beans. We're going to just see the side of Shelby's hands holding up the earth. All we need to do is a little oval shape for the hand. It's almost like a mitten. And then I'm going back over all the lines with lots of ziggy-zaggies, zigzag lines to show fur. Every artist is different. Yours will not look exactly like mine, and that's okay. I don't usually like to even stop and erase all my little lines. I just keep going over and over, but that's why we have to draw lightly. I might stop and erase some of this one because it's going to get a little confusing for my friends to see where we want the lines to be. But if we look back at the original drawing of Shelby from Winterfest, we don't need to do all those little paw parts. We're only going to see the thumb, almost like it has a mitten on. So an oval for the hand and then a little thumb, just a furry little thumb. When I'm drawing Shelby's hands, I kind of think of the Grinch and how the Grinch has those long, furry finger sort of paws. And then here we're doing some more ziggy-zaggies for fur. And I'm going to start to erase some of those ovals that were just showing us where we want the actual lines to be. And these aren't even going to be the finished lines. When I go back over the pencil lines with marker, I'll do even more erasing. On the center of the ear, I just do a V, or it could be a V with an extra line in the middle, almost like a really, really squished up W. And that just shows that's the center of Shelby's ear. And then I do a slight, very light oval for the tum-tum with ziggy-zaggies and fur for its tummy. And I'm going over the thigh with zigzags and then down into the feet and show some toes. If you remember back to Winterfest drawing, we had 3 little toes. And you can choose whether or not you want to add a tiny little triangle for Shelby's claws. And the thigh is almost like a backwards C shape on this side or a C shape on the other side. We're going straight across between the legs for Shelby's bum. And I'm going to go back over and erase the things that are confusing to me and just only leave the parts that we want to see. Let's do some fur where the chin attaches to the body. And Shelby's really strong and thick and fluffy, so we don't see much of a neck on a bear, from this angle at least. The nose is an upside down triangle, and the mouth goes a J shape and then a backwards J shape. The eyes should touch the triangle nose. And then we're going to do a little chinny chin fur. And then we're just kind of like going back over and deciding if we like where things are. When you go to draw in the planet, you can just do blobs and circles and shapes. You could practice rectangles, circles, and triangles. You could do just blobby shapes. I like to kind of, in my mind, go over my geography. And I'm drawing the shape of the United States. And down here's Hawaii. That's where my sister's family is now. Up into Canada, over into Alaska. And there's some islands that come off of Alaska. Now, Hawaii, down here in Alaska, the waves just keep rolling and rolling and rolling from Alaska all the way down to Hawaii with no land in between to stop the waves. And over here is Europe. Down here is the, let's see, we did the Caribbean and then down into South America. What if you don't know all your geography? That's okay. You could just draw a few spots that you know. Here's the North Pole where Santa lives. North is always at the top. Okay, so far so good. We're going to check back and see if we like all of our fluffy fur, see if we missed any spots or if we want to erase something more and redraw it. We are not robots. We are artists, and artists make mistakes. That's why they invented the eraser. Now, when we're talking about Earth Day here, we can do a lot of things to help save the planet. And let's talk about that a little more while we're coloring. We can use our words to write Shelby Bear Earth Day if we want to. We could draw something else around the Earth. We could maybe make space or the eclipse with the sun and the moon. I'm trying to space out my letters here to fit all the way around the circle of Earth, and I didn't really quite make that happen, so I problem solved. I just stuck a heart there to fill the space. Now, artists sign their artwork down in the lower right-hand corner of their art, so that's what I did, Miss Joy, down there. And let's take a look at this other one we did a few months ago for Winterfest. All right, so I like to go over all my cartoons with a Sharpie outline. If you're not allowed to use a Sharpie, you can use a regular marker, but you want to make sure you let your marker dry before you go back to erase. And the thing I love about Sharpies is that they evaporate, they dry really fast, so I can go back over with my eraser. And I can switch from a thin to a medium to a thick marker, depending on what part of the bear I'm drawing. And you can choose whatever kind of art you want to make your Shelby Bear with. You can just leave it with pencil. You can go back with marker, color pencil, crayon. It's completely up to you, friends. Now, when I'm going out over the outlines, I might not trace exactly where my pencil lines are. I might even change some of those markings to move them over a little bit and put them where I really think they should be. And then I can go back over and erase when I'm sure the marker is dry. If I went too fast from marker to eraser, I would just smear and smush my eraser or my marker all over. So making sure that you wait and let it dry, then go back and erase is a really helpful trick. And furry thumbs, furry arms, going back over my pencil lines. Okay, and then you'll notice when I go up and trace over these letters here, I'm going to try and stretch them out, so I won't be tracing exactly where my pencil line was. I'm going to try and make those words fit all the way around my circle if I can, but I'm not a robot, so if it doesn't work out, that's okay. Sometimes when you have a problem to solve, it makes you think more creatively, and you would come up with an idea that you would not have normally come up with. So that's why I put the little heart there at the end where my words didn't fit. And then I also love using a thin and thick marker because sometimes I can hide my mistakes by going back over a line and making it thicker. So here I'll try to stretch out some of my letters and make them bigger and squish it over a little bit this way. Oh, it still doesn't fit. I'll go back to that little heart, but I'll make it smaller. You don't have to write any words on yours. You might be practicing your letters. You might be really good at your letters. It's totally up to you what you choose to do. And again, I'm really practicing my geography, and so I am drawing the map of the Earth, but you can just do squishes and blobs if you don't know the shape of the United States. Or Africa, you could be showing a different side of the globe. It might be turned a little bit. Remember, a circle's flat, but a sphere is a round circle like a ball. So the globe, as it spins, you might see a different part of the Earth. And when astronauts go up in the sky and look back at the Earth, they don't just see blue and green. They see lots of blues and lots of greens. And that's part of the reason I love using crayons. You can blend, you can layer, go over the blue with another blue. You can draw lightly or press hard and get more vivid color. When I'm coloring, I like to try and keep my lines going all the same direction. And remember to turn your paper so that it's easier on your hand. Do you remember when we cut paper and I always say, turn your paper, not your scissors? That's because it's making it easier for you to cut by turning your paper. And I do this also when I draw. I like to turn my paper a lot while I'm drawing or coloring. And I'm layering more than one blue. I'm keeping my scribbles in a nice, neat coloring pattern so all my lines go together. Instead of scribbling all over the place, I slow my scribble down when I get close to an edge that I want to try and keep my drawing inside of the lines. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did with the blue with the green. I'm going to go lots of different greens. I'm going to layer them on top of each other, and I'm going to press sometimes hard and sometimes light. Here's a different color green. I'm thinking the North Pole is not snowy right now. It's going to be green on my earth, just because I just want my whole earth to be blue and green right now. I don't want to do any whites and browns and blacks also. So your earth might look different than my earth, and that's okay. Now Shelby Bear is going to be also lots of different browns. I'm scribbling quickly and I speed up this part of the video, so you are not going to be coloring this fast, and that is okay. The editing is sped up. So don't try to keep up with me here. Just notice what I'm doing. Do your own thing. Every artist works at their own pace. So what are some things that we can do to save our planet? If I am just one person, I cannot save the whole planet. It's not all on you, but if we all work together, it will make a huge difference, won't it? So we can recycle, we can compost, we can pick up litter, and definitely don't be a litter bug. What if it's something sharp that we shouldn't be touching? We could tell an adult that we saw something on the ground that we need help picking up. We could upcycle. Do you know what that is? Different than recycling. Upcycling is when you take something and reuse it and make it even better. Like in art, we do a lot of upcycling. We might use a toilet paper tube, and instead of throwing it away or recycling it or burning it in the fireplace, we can turn it into something. We could upcycle it by making it even better. So reusing things, that's another way to save the planet. And if we're all just doing a little of those things, a few things can make a really big difference. We want to save the trees because they help us breathe. We also love to get our maple syrup from those trees. And when the climate changes, it doesn't allow us to keep living the same way that we've been living. So we want to make sure that we take care of our planet to keep it healthy and safe and balanced so that we can grow up and have it be a good, healthy planet. Here, let's write down some of the words that can help us save the planet. So some of the words we already talked about: recycling, reusing, upcycling, composting, being kind, just being kind to the planet and to each other, and just showing love and filling our buckets by cleaning up. That's really helpful. Not being a litter bug, that's a huge one. If somebody else is being a litter bug, you can totally call them out on it. That shows care. And friends, I want you to do your own thing with your artwork. It's going to look different than mine. You don't have to make your sky and grass in the background. Some people are doing other things, other ideas. And I am just going to keep on cleaning up my bear and going back over to layer and to make sure that I didn't miss any spots. I like to do Shelby Bear's eyes green because Sheldon's school color is green. But so the last thing is that I also like to go back over some marker lines to make them nice and thick on the edge. And that makes it look a little more cartoony to me. And I can also correct any mistakes by covering them up with a thicker line. I hope that you have enjoyed drawing Shelby Bear for Earth Day, and I hope you're having fun. I would love to see some of your drawings. Have a great day, friends.